As the nightmarish reality dissolves, you once again find yourself waking up, this time to the sight of Meximutt, his greasy skin now glistening in the morning light. Kneeling before you, his ass encased in a skimpy thong, the cheeks bulging with fat. Soytan, still the nerdy, innocent soyteen you've come to know, stands over Meximutt with a triumphant smile, a strap-on dildo strapped firmly to her hips. Ooh, looks like I caught you trying to sneak a peek at Ronald's dong. You naughty little you naughty Meximutt, she says, her voice laced with playful menace. Your heart leaps as the nightmare fades, replaced by this familiar, if still surreal scene. Soytan, still unaware of your newfound desires, leans over her face close to yours. I'm going to teach you a lesson you won't forget, she says, her voice low and sultry. With that, she commands Meximutt to release your erect member from his mouth. The fat ass. Meximutt obliges, his eyes wide as he catches sight of Soytan's strap-on. Hold still, you greasy beast, she commands, her eyes never leaving yours. Soytan positions herself behind Meximutt, her hands gripping the strap-on's base. With a swift motion, she penetrates the Meximutt from behind. The strap-on's tip disappearing into his tight ass. The thong's thin fabric stretches as Soytan begins to her hips. Moving rhythmically, the sight of Soytan dominating the Meximutt, her focus on pleasing you, triggers an unexpected surge of arousal. Your hands, unable to resist, find their way to your own making yourself in sync with the Soytan's movements. The scene before you, the innocent Soytan the Meximutt, is a bizarre fantasy brought to life. A Meximutt in his new submissive role mews and moans as Soytan works the strap-on in and out of him. The sight of his fat ass moving the sight of his fat ass moving to her actions, the pleasure building to an unstoppable crescendo. With a growl you release, your hot splattering onto the bed. Soytan, still lost in her pegging frenzy, doesn't seem to notice your climax. Her focus remains on the Meximutt, her thrusts growing faster and more intense. In the distance, FNF Pedo and Jatikak's laughter mingles with the sounds of the twisted celebration. The song, Oh, I'm a Jatikak, fills the room, its lyrics an ode to their depraved existence. As the Meximutt continues to take his punishment, the sounds of Giatikak and FNF Pedo's revelry create a stark contrast to the more intimate scene in your room. The battle for the internet continues, the war between light and darkness raging on, but for now, you find comfort in his twisted moment, Soytan's dominance over the Meximutt, and your own pleasure, a momentary respite from the chaos that engulfs the digital world. As soytan begins to slow her thrusts, the Meximutt, his ass still filled by the strap-on, turns his attention to his dominant. Panting and blushing, he twerks his fat ass, wriggling in a display of submission and humility. The thong stretches and bounces in time with Meximutt's movements. Soytan, a small smile tugging at her lips, pulls pulls out of the Meximutt, his ass left to speak in the aftermath. "Good boy," she says, her voice Good boy, she says, her voice gentle, though there's no mistaking the underlying command. The Meximutt, his role as a submissive now clear, scampers off, his tailless rump still swaying with each step. Soytan, her soyteens still in place, turns her attention back to you. "Feels better now?" she asks, her innocent smile returning as she kneels beside you. You nod, unable to find the words to express your complexity of your emotions. The world outside may be a battlefield, but for now, you're content in the small sanctuary.